Hi guys, welcome to another video of MaxiAspie, and today I wanted to start this video a bit differently. It has now been around 7 years since we done the National Autistic Society campaign Could You Stand the Rejection, which focused around employment, and today I wanted to remind you all of that video, so here it is guys.
Is it Stephen? Please, follow me.
Congrats on all the awards. So, tell me about yourself.
So, what would you say your strengths and weaknesses are?
Really? You don't look it?
Just so you know, the role has changed ever so slightly, but it's nothing major.
Let's find out a bit about you. So what experience do you have? What skills, what abilities? Anything?
It doesn't seem like you've had a job for a few months.
6 months.
A year. Why is that?
Okay. It's nice to meet you.
Thanks for coming in. We'll be in touch. Are you okay?
I'm not unemployable, I'm autistic, and sometimes I get too much information. So obviously that video was released in 2016. At the time, the government did not take an account of the numbers of autistic people in full-time work, and part of that campaign, and one of the things that was really successful, was that the government agreed with the ONS that they'd start taking a record of numbers of how many autistic people was in employment. So at the time, the statistic we found was there was around 16% of autistic people in full-time work, and then there was other figures suggesting part-time, volunteering and all that stuff. You know, one of the surveys that we did as well said that a lot of employers wouldn't hire somebody who was autistic because they didn't know how to support them. So a lot of the campaigning I did along with that advert was going up to Houses of Parliament, talking to MPs and talking about what things that they could do that would make it better for autistic people. And I would offer things like apprenticeships, you know, entry-level 1 qualifications, because I was getting stuck on trying to accomplish a level 2 qualification in maths, which I necessarily didn't really need to do my job. And I felt that those things needed to be addressed. And, you know, other things I addressed was things like, we know how many wives Henry VIII have, but we don't know how to write a resume when we leave school or read a payslip, which I think is really important and fundamental to a young person's development and life. Not only for autistic people, but in general. So fast forward during COVID, and the ONS then revealed a statistic that said only 22% of autistic people were in any form of work. At the time I read that, and I read that as, oh, that's actually better, you know, 16% from 22%. And actually, to clarify, it wasn't better. What that statistic then said was there's 22% of autistic people in any form of work. So that figure was really worse than what we thought it was. So I look back at that campaign, and the reason I wanted to bring it to the forefront today is to make sure that people don't forget, and it's so important that that number increases, that we get more autistic people into work. And it's something I combat and fight for and ambassador every day for. We need more autistic people into work, and it's not that they don't want to work, it's because when they get to job interviews they will buckle under that stress, they will buckle under that pressure, because they're not feeling supported, they're not feeling understood, and employers don't understand that, you know, to the point where I joined a workforce and I asked for headphones and they said, sorry, you know, you can't have any, even though it would have really helped me in my career. I look around the room, there's room for the people with headphones. I'm like, well, why can they? Well, they've been here 16 years and you're in probation. It's responses like that that don't help, you know. businesses need to understand that might be a fundamental factor to an autistic person's work and might make them work better, and it doesn't actually cost a lot of money to put that in place. So with that being said, what would I like for the next 7 years to go by? Obviously I want this campaign to carry on. The employment matter is such importance to me. I'd love that statistic in 7 years' time to be, you know, dare I say it, you know, 90%, 100% if we lived in an ideal world. I can see it realistically maybe getting to 40. Can I see it going over 50? Hopefully. You know, that's something I will work towards and make sure that, you know, every fibre in my being we get to that number. But we need people on board to help. So always remember that figure exists, that figure is out there, and it shouldn't be the case. And if I look back at the 7 years, there's been a lot of work and a lot of awareness, but we still need acceptance, and we still need employers on board with us and government on board for us to make the change. So hopefully we can do that in the next 7 years. But guys, thank you for watching as always. Take care and goodbye for now.